Linux and shell scripting demo. So let me introduce about Linux. So before that, hold a minute. Yeah, hope you are seeing the screen. So what is Linux and shell scripting? What is the use of Linux? First, let me explain about Linux. Then let me tell you about what is the advantage of Linux. Linux is one of the operating system. What is operating system? Operating system is a software which is an interface between end user and system. If you want to operate your system, if you want to work with the system, you need to install first operating system. Then only we can install any application on the operating system. So which will allocate resources to the application and which will provide interface between end user and computer. So that's why we can say Linux is an operating system. Operating system is interface between user and the system. What are the examples of operating system? What are the different types of operating systems in the society or in the world? Here, MS-DOS, Windows, Unix, Linux, Mac, OS2, and different types of operating systems. All these things are operating system examples. And these operating systems generally divided into three types. The operating systems are divided into three types. First one, according to nature of operating system, according to the work of operating system, they are divided into three types. That is single user and single task operating system. What is a single user? Only one user can connect to the system. Or suppose here, this is Windows. At a time, how many number of users can log on to the Windows? Only one user. Here already I logged on to the system. Then there is no chance to the other user until I will log out from this system. There is no chance to the second user to log in into the same system. That is called as a single user operating system. Means at a time it allows a single user to log in. And what is the single task? At a time we can perform, means the logged in user can perform only one work at a time. What is the example for this kind of operating system? That is DOS, disk operating system. In the old days, before Windows, we have the operating system DOS. It looked like this. If you boot your system, at the top left corner, you have one word, login. At that place, you should type username. If you hit enter, then it is prompting for password. If you hit enter again, after submitting password, if you hit enter, it will show C:\. That's all. Nothing, it will not show anything. There is no question of mouse. In MS-DOS, what type of operating system it is? It's a completely CUI based operating system. CUI means command user interface operating system. If you want to do something in the system, you should submit a command. Do you want to create a text file? Enter one command, use one command to create a text file. Do you want to create a folder or a directory? Folder is also called as directory. Then you have to use the command mkdir or md. To do anything in the MS-DOS, we should submit a command. So completely command user interface. It's very difficult to the normal people to work with the operating system. Why? Because he should be a technical person. He has to learn all commands related to DOS. If you want to search for a file, use a command. Creating file, use a command. Deleting file, use a command. Copying file, use it. For everything you are doing within the DOS, you should use command only. It's very difficult to remember all the commands. By mistake, if you forgot any command, you are unable to do some task. So that is MS-DOS. It's look like this in the old days. It will not show any graphical icons. It's completely command user interface environment. Want to see the file, something under PV, dir. Want to change from one location to another location, CD. Just I move back to users. And again I move back to users. See, just CLS. See. So let me use dir. These are the files under the C drive. These are the files under C drive. If you want to remove any file, we should use command. So hope you understand. This is very difficult interface and a technical interface. What are the disadvantages in this operating system? It's not user friendly. It is not supporting multiple users, and it is not supporting multiple tasks also. Once, suppose to finish a work, suppose I want to copy a file into another file. To copy, I will use some command copy. Suppose the file data is big, like 2 GB data. 2 GB data of a file copied into another file. It will take something 50 seconds or 30 seconds, some time it will take. Until finishing of first task, you cannot perform second task. What is the meaning of that? Means at a time it is permitting single task. If the first task completed, then you are ready to do the next task. Means supporting only single task, not supporting multiple tasks. Then second type of operating system is single user and multitask operating system. What is single user? Already we discussed it. Single user means at a time only one user can log in, but he can handle multiple tasks parallelly. He can handle multiple tasks parallelly. See here, what is the best example for this operating system is Windows. See, into Windows, here I am working with Windows 10. Into Windows, at a time only one user can log in. It's a client version of operating system, means it will permit only one user. And moreover, it's a text file. Here is a browser. Here is a folder. Folder, browser, text file, MS Word document, and also some picture, photos application. So I am handling with multiple tasks. Only one user, but handling more than one task at a time. That is called as multitasking operating system. What is the interface? Okay, we installed Windows successfully. What is the interface between user and the system? GUI, it's a desktop, graphical user interface. Do you want to copy a file to somewhere? Just use mouse pointer. Do you want to delete a file? Use mouse pointer. So just right click on it, select delete. Do you want to create something? Select new and do create. You can do anything by using graphical icons. It is not necessary to remember commands. Its most look and feel is very good, and also way of working is easy. Not necessary to remember the commands. Not necessary to learn any commands. It's making your environment most user friendly. That's why till now we can say Windows is the most user friendly environment in the world. And at a time you are handling with multiple tasks. That's why it is called as a single user and multitasking. What is the problem in Windows? In Windows, there is one disadvantage majorly. It is not supporting multiple users. And it's not a freeware. It's not freeware. And also it's not virus free. Say, if anybody hacked Windows 10 in the world, again I'm repeating, if anybody hacked Windows 10 in the world, then he can hack any Windows 10 operating system in the world. Means Windows 10 is having same security features. Person to person, region to region, the security cannot be changed in Windows. So the standard security features provided by Microsoft, everyone will follow same security, so that if one security threat means that can cross through any security issues or any security environment in Windows 10. Multi-user and multitasking. The third type of operating system is multi-user and multitasking. What is multi-user? More than one user at a time can work with the system. Parallelly, he can work with the system. And that user can perform multiple tasks at a time. Parallelly, I can submit multiple commands. The best operating systems are Unix and Linux. Unix is different, Linux is different. First, Unix was developed. Officially, it was announced in 1969. Later, it was officially released in 1971. Announced in 1969. Who was developed Unix? It was developed by Dinesh, Ken Thompson, and his team at Bell Labs. It's completely commercial operating system. We cannot download it freely. In the old days, we have Unix operating system. And in the beginning days, Unix is also having CUI interface, like this interface. In the old days, beginning of Unix release, it is having this kind of interface. Means to do anything, we have to write command. And moreover, Unix is not open to all the people. You have to purchase it. And after that, Linux was developed by one person. His name is Linus Torvalds. Linux was developed by one person known as Linus Torvalds. His name is becoming as the operating system name. It was officially released in 1991. And what is the problem in Unix? In Unix, CUI interface is the problem. That is overcome under Linux. In Linux, the default interface is GUI. And one more disadvantage in Unix, it's commercial, but Linux is freeware. Anybody can freely download and anybody can modify it freely according to his requirement. In Linux also, we have two distributions. These are also called as distros. Distros means different companies developed making some modifications to the basic edition and released it as a new product. So this is a new product from my company, or this is a new product from my business. It's called as distros or distributions, Linux distributions. And see, in Linux, we have two distros. One is commercial distros and another one is freeware, Debian OS. Debian distros are completely freeware. Anybody can freely download the software and anybody can modify it according to their requirement. That's why it is called as open source code software. Whereas Red Hat Linux is not freeware. We should purchase from Red Hat company. So let me introduce some flavors of Unix. The first Unix is from BSD, Berkeley Labs, AT&T Labs, Bell Labs, all are same. BSD Unix from Bell Labs, that's called as FreeBSD Unix. And next co-Unix from IBM, we have Unix-like operating system called as AIX. From HP, we have UX. Nowadays, there is no more Sun Solaris because Sun Microsystems was adopted by our IT company. But in the old days, one of the most famous Unix operating system is the Sun Solaris. Solaris is a Unix operating system from Sun Microsystems. And what are the distributions of Linux? So Red Hat Linux, OpenSUSE Linux, Fedora Linux, Ubuntu Linux, and Oracle Enterprise Linux. Here, Ubuntu is a freeware. Anybody can download it. Oracle Enterprise Linux is also freeware. But Red Hat flavors, not freeware. We should purchase. Red Hat, Fedora, CentOS are not free. What are the advantages of Unix or advantages of Linux? So let me type here, advantages of its most powerful operating system than Windows. It is very faster than Windows. Next, most securable operating system. Securable operating system in the world. Security is the major part. Supporting multiple users. It's multi-user and also multitask. So it is, you can install Linux in your personal systems, and also Linux is useful to maintain as a server for the business, means portability. It is supporting from personal PCs to large servers. It is able to handle small work to any size of work. Compatibility. It is compatible with any type of technology. Any technology, any application you can install. So these are the advantages of Linux. Again, I'm repeating, it's very faster than Windows, and security is the major aspect of Linux. And moreover, it's supporting multiple users and multitask. Portability, it is suitable for your personal work as well as for your company work or business work. So means it is supporting from personal work to distributed database work. It's very complicated and very big data stored under distributed databases. And Linux is compatible with any type of technology. And one more point is Linux is open source code. Open source code, but that should be Debian distros. Debian distros. What is distros? Distros means distributions. Don't be confused. We can also call it as distros. Debian flavors. All Debian flavors are open source code. Anybody can freely download it. Anybody can freely modify it according to their company requirement. Before going to architecture, let me show you a small diagram. At what time it was started? The research on Unix was started almost at what time? In the mid of 1970s to 1980s. And from this research, we have so many distros. See, first version released is BSD, Berkeley Software Distribution, what I told you here. This one. And from here, they invented some other distributions, FreeBSD, NetBSD, OpenBSD. And also Sun Microsystems OS released it. From there, Xenix, it's from Microsoft. Xenix is also called as Unix. And from Apple, there is an operating system OS X. Almost all companies tried to release Unix-like operating system. They released their own flavor or distribution by making modifications to the first one is BSD. And from Unix only, based on Unix only, by including GNU environment, it was released as Linux. Linux was written by Linus Torvalds. And from Unix, there is a commercial Unix is there. That commercial Unix is called as Unixware. From this commercial Unix, from AT&T, you have HP UX, IBM AIX, Sun Solaris, and SGI IRIX. These are called as different types of distributions of Unix. Actually, it's a limited diagram. If you can see, thousands of distributions are there. Not like this. So it's a general basic distribution idea only. And he is the person, Linus Torvalds. He invented this Linux. Linux is the first GUI-based multi-user operating system. So this is about Unix introduction. Like Windows, we can work with Linux. Advantage in the company is nowadays almost all companies are using Linux as a server. Why? Because Linux is the most powerful operating system than Windows, and it is very faster than Windows and most secureable operating system than Windows. And if you need any modifications to the basic Linux software, you can do it. You can do the changes to the original software according to your business requirement, so that the security is implemented differently from server to server. By mistake, unfortunately, if any server hacked, then we should not say other servers are also hacked. No, not like that. Because different servers, in different servers, you can implement different securities. Since Linux is open source code. And what is architecture of Linux? So first here we are the users. Like Windows, let me explain about Windows. Suppose we are the user, I am a client. I am interacting with the GUI environment, desktop. From desktop, I can go to any taskbar. From taskbar, I can open any application. So what is the environment, interface environment or architecture of Unix or Linux? See, user communicating with shell. Shell is communicating with kernel, and kernel is communicating with the hardware or hardware components or applications. Different applications available under hard disk. Application programs available under hard disk. Again, I'm repeating, user making a request sent to shell, shell communicating with kernel, kernel communicating with hardware programs, or we can say the applications installed on the hard disk. And one more, let me open the detailed architecture of Unix or Linux. This is the detailed architecture. Here also same. See, I'm saying users, different users. User 1, user 2, user 3, user 4. All users, we are discussing about architecture of Linux. It's a multi-user operating system. Means more than one user can log in. So that's why I am considering 4 users. Each user working with a different application. He is working with Hadoop. He is working with Java. He is working with C, and he is working with Oracle. All users are logged on to the same system. Can I say it's a server? Yes, you can say there is a single operating system on the hard disk called as Linux. Each user with a different application. Each application should go through with the shell. What is a shell? Shell is an interface between user application and kernel. Shell is an interface between user application and kernel. Or you can say shell is a program. Shell is a program which translates a user request into machine language. That request finally sent it to kernel. Kernel understand that request, and that according to that request, kernel will communicate with hard disk programs or the files stored under hard disk or the applications installed under hard disk. What is a shell? Shell is an interface between client application and kernel. What it will do, it will convert a user's request into machine language and submit the request to the kernel. And finally, kernel is interacting with the hardware application programs or the files installed under the hardware. And you can also say shell is a command interpreter. Why? It is known as command interpreter. It will execute the Unix commands or Linux commands. That's why it is called as command interpreter. And if you install Unix or Linux, by default, there is an interface. The user need one interface to communicate with the operating system. That interface is a shell. So by default, one shell is installed. If you install Linux or Unix, in the old days, different flavors of shells are available. Different distributions of shells. Same. Some shell developed by Bourne. Stephen Bourne is the author. That is called as Bourne shell. If you work with Bourne shell, you can see the prompt $ like this. Here is the prompt for the command window. Here is a $. I'm talking about Unix, okay? If you are working with Korn shell developed by David Korn, prompt is $ again. C shell, it was developed by AT&T, prompt is %I. In the old days, in Unix operating system, the default shell is SH. Again, the default shell is SH. Later, it is named as C shell. Suppose if you are working with Bourne shell, and you want to switch into different shell, then you can use these commands. If you use CSH, then the current shell is switched into C shell. If you want to work with BSH, Bourne shell, so right now you are working with the C shell, and then I want to switch into Bourne shell. If you want to switch into Bourne shell, use BSH. If you want to switch into Corn shell, KSH. These are the commands to switch into different shells. Similarly, what are the available shells in Linux? If I install Linux, what are the shells? Linux default shell is bash shell. The prompt is $. Bash stands for born again shell. And you can also install TCSH shell, known as Turbo C shell. Generally in Linux, you have two types of environments, CUI, GUI. In CUI, the user directly can see shell. User directly seeing shell. In shell, he can type window or commands. The commands send it to kernel. Kernel understanding the request and communicating with the hardware applications or programs. In GUI, there is no shell directly. The user can see desktop, that is called as GNU desktop or KD. So many types of desktops are there. Mint desktop, KDE desktop, GNOME, GNU, different types of desktop environments from different distros. So user directly see a desktop. From the desktop, say this is Windows. Can I open command window here? Yes. If you open command window, you can see the command window like this. Here you can submit commands. Similarly, in GUI means the user can see desktop. In the desktop, he can open shell window. From the shell, he can make a request. The request into kernel. Kernel communicating with hardware programs. Let me conclude this. What is a shell? Shell interface between user and kernel. What is the work of shell? Receiving commands, interpreting commands, receiving requests from user application. That request converted into machine language, and that request sent to kernel. What is kernel? Kernel is a program or process. If you start your operating system, not only Unix, Linux, DOS, Windows, OS 2, Mac, any operating system, kernel is common. Without kernel, there is no operating system. That's why most of the people can say kernel itself is operating system. If you start the booting of your system, internally so many services will be started one by one, one by one, one by one. After some time, all required services will be started and make your system ready to use. In these services, internally some processes and services are started. In these list of services, who is starting first? The first process which is started is called as kernel. It is also known as initial process. So we can say like this, kernel is the first program which is initiated in the booting system or in the booting process. This initial process is acting as parent for all remaining processes. What it will do, if any application closed, then kernel will stop the process related to that application. If any application is started, then kernel will maintain a process for that running application. How it is managing the running processes as well as the closing processes? How it is managing these processes? It is managing the processes by maintaining process table. I will show you this practically. All of you see, listen carefully. This is my Windows operating system. I don't want to disturb Windows. But additionally, I want to work with Linux. So how can I maintain second operating system without disturbing Windows operating system? You can do it by installing VirtualBox or VMware Workstation. First, install VMware Workstation. In the VMware Workstation, you can install second operating system known as Linux. Here already I installed VMware here. This is VMware Workstation. Just let me right click on it here. Hit Run as Administrator. Hit S. It will open VMware Workstation window. Under this window, let me select power on this virtual machine. What is the operating system available under VMware? Ubuntu. It was already installed. Just select power on this virtual machine. The booting of virtual machine is started. Wait 2 minutes, then your Linux is ready to use. So before doing this, you have to install VMware Workstation. You can download it from the internet, but generally only trial version you are able to download. You can't download VMware Workstation freely. Only trial version you can download that's valid for 14 days trial period. If you want to purchase VMware Workstation, it will cost up to 2,750 rupees. 2,750 rupees. Don't do like that. Better to download Oracle's VirtualBox is there. From Oracle company, we have another VMware Workstation known as VirtualBox. You can download VirtualBox, install it, and after that, in that box, you can install Linux. And see here, my Linux booting is over. It is ready to log in. This is the desktop environment. It's a GUI based. Suppose you can see two types of environments here. If it is a command mode, CUI mode, how it look like? It look like this. Like this. It's a GUI mode. How it look like? It look like this. In GUI, user means me and you are the users. You can see the desktop. In CUI, no more desktop. Directly we are communicating with shell. So let me show the process in GUI first. Let me connect as Ubuntu. Here I'm submitting the password. These 3 user accounts already created. Now you are connecting to the operating system as Ubuntu. Submit the password, hit enter, then wait a moment, it will show the desktop because it is a GUI. Yes, it's a GUI environment. Here you can see browsers, software update, Excel sheets, Word documents, files. You can search anything from here. It's a search window. Escape. You can explore your files by using files. Graphically, you can explore. And here library, office, writer, something, software, Ubuntu software updated. And then see, how can I submit commands here? If you want to run commands in GUI, it's not possible. Then how to start command window or shell window? See, right click on the desktop, open terminal. It will show the command window. Who is the user? Ubuntu is the user. At the rate, what is the server name? Ubuntu local is the server. How can I run a command? Like this. So these are the commands. How to close the shell window? Exit. So what you did now? Open shell window or command window, run commands and close command window. Right click on desktop, open terminal. It will open command window. Do your work. To close the window, exit. Suppose if you don't have this option in your version, then there is a shortcut in Ubuntu. Here we are learning about Ubuntu Linux. Control-Alt-T. Again I'm repeating, Control-Alt-T. Hold Control and Alt keys and hit T. T for tab. T for tower. Okay, yeah. So then it will open command window. If you want to close the command window, exit. I told you two processes, right click, open terminal, or Control-Alt-T. Third process is there. Go to search. Here, type terminal. Here you can see terminal window. Select terminal. It will open command window again. Okay, this is the GUI environment. Here you can open command window and how to explore the files, how to close the command window, how to execute command window commands we have seen. Now, if it is CUI, all of you listen carefully. Here I am explaining about multi-user environment. So who is working with the GUI mode? Ubuntu. You are seeing right mark here. He connected to the system, Ubuntu. Now let me switch into GUI. Here, submit a different username, Dinesh 530, and password. I submitted the password. You can see here, dollar symbol means you successfully connected to Ubuntu. Clear. Who am I? Dinesh 530. Working on which terminal? TTY1. TTY1. Connected on this date at this time. This is only displaying information about yourself. Can I see who are the users logged in and working with the system right now? See here, Dinesh 530 working with which terminal? TTY1. Connected date, time. And Ubuntu, he is working with the TTY7. TTY7 means it's a GUI. Connected on this date and connected at this time. So two users parallelly working with your operating system. So we should agree it is a multi-user operating system. Dinesh 530 connected, even Ubuntu is working with the system right now. So parallelly, how many number of users can work? In CUI, parallelly 6 users can work. In GUI, 1 user can work. Total 7 users are supported by Linux, Ubuntu nowadays. So how can I switch from one user account to another user account? That we will discuss tomorrow. There is a shortcut key. By hitting that, you can switch from one user account to another user account. Not only here, you can just let me switch into GUI. Here, Control-Alt-T, and increase home. Here also you can see Dinesh 530 connected to TTY1 and Ubuntu connected to TTY7. Two users parallelly working with the operating system. Let me switch back to CUI. Disconnecting from system, exit. He disconnected. Let me switch into GUI. Now, who command is showing only one user. So parallelly, multiple users can connect to the Unix or Linux operating system. That's why it is called as multi-user operating system. How to disconnect? Go to top right corner, select power button, shutdown or logout. In real time, you don't have shutdown option, but this is my personal system. That's why we have shutdown option. In real time, only you have the option lock and logout. Lock and logout. Only two options you can see. So leave it for 1 minute. It will be disconnected and it will show shutting down process also. Yes, completed. Just go to the window, go to file menu, exit. That's all. Your Windows is safe, and additionally you are maintaining second operating system under VMware. So this is about introduction to the demo of Unix and Linux. So here we are learning about Ubuntu Linux. So just I divided this my course training into 5 components. Commands. In my training, what you are learning is commands, editors, commands, editors, shell scripting, job scheduling. Actually 4, that is enough. Commands, editors, shell scripting, job scheduling. Just I am maintaining a special heading for operators. What are the redirection operators? What are the special symbols we are having? So just these 2 concepts I am maintaining as a second component, so that the course training divided into 5 components. First one, all commands. Don't think commands means just as a single word. So many commands. In our training, you are learning 100+ commands, like general commands, file related commands, user account creation command, user account deletion commands, managing user accounts, filter commands, networking commands, communication commands, process related commands, and file searching, find command, and also grouping the files, creating archive file, creating zipped archive file, tar command. These are the commands. Redirection operator, input redirection, output redirection. Meta characters, special characters, what is question mark, what is star, square brackets. Editors, how to create a new file using editor, how to modify existing file using editor. And also shell scripting. See, generally we are executing commands. What is a shell script? Shell script is a program. Why is the shell script? Shell script is nothing but generally one command we will execute at a time. But my task is complicated task. To perform the task, I want to execute a set of commands. If you want to execute set of commands, you should write the set of commands in your file. To perform your task, you need set of commands. That set of commands will be written onto one file that is called as a shell script. If you run the script, the commands inside script will be executed sequentially so that your task will be completed. Under shell scripting, we will discuss about types of shell scripts, operators, arithmetic operators, and relational operators. What is read command, conditional structures, loop structures, case structure, and also command line arguments. And after that, we will discuss about job scheduling. Job scheduling means anybody can write programs or scripts. Immediately they will execute it and they will get the output from the execution. But I don't want to execute my script right now. I want to execute the script every day, morning 4 o'clock, midnight 12 o'clock. Maybe I am in front of the system or I am away from the system. In any case, the program should be automatically executed. How can I automate the execution process of any program or any command? You can schedule that program or command so that it can be executed at designated timings. That we can do by scheduling that. The scheduling should be done under which file? Cron tab. These are called as cron jobs. So this is what we are discussing in our training. This is the end of the demo. If you have any questions, you can ask me. And the people who are in online, please type your mail IDs in the chat window so that I can copy the mail IDs and I will send this document to your mail. Not only this document, I will send the recorded session link so that you can listen the video and see the video, watch the video, as well as you can download the video. So requesting you all, I got one mail ID. I'm requesting you, all of you, please type your mail IDs in the chat window of GoToMeeting so that I can copy it. So thank you, all of you. I got all the mails and I copied the mails. I will send the document to your mail IDs and also the recorded session link to your mail. Thank you, all of you. Tomorrow, see you at the same time in the same link. Thank you, all of you.